Will my game soft lock? No, it didn't. Alright. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world premiere of the Lynx 2%, a intro category to the Chrono Cross speedrun. With time, you can get this run down to like a 2:15, 2:10, 2:05. I would say that with a bit of practice, you'll be at about 3 hours, and then it doesn't take that long to be able to get into a sub 2.5 hours. And then takes practice from there. This opening cutscene, it doesn't matter who you have. There's no RNG manip in this game. Everything's frame based. It's possible to get caught on a bat here. Anytime you get into an extra fight, it's 20 seconds between loading into the battle and loading out. There's several different characters that you can get in this opening cutscene. If you want to get technical, having a 3-letter character is a bit faster than, say, a 4 or 5 character. Doing a little loop there. Your characters have to corral around certain objects, so you can corral them. You'll save a little bit of time of walking. One helpful tip with this game for me is that using the D-pad on certain screens could be a little bit more consistent if you're not too good with the analog stick, which is the case for me. So I know on this screen, if I just hold up, I'll go directly upright. But having the analog stick, you can definitely do sharper movement throughout the game and avoiding encounters. Yo, Doug, thank you so much for the 7 months. Really appreciate it. We're doing well. So yeah, all the information for this game can be found in the Chrono Trigger Chrono Cross Discord. A lot, and everything that I talk about today can seem a little intimidating, but it really isn't when you're using notes. A bigger part of the run is just learning how to read your notes. Reading notes as you go. I still have to look at notes for stuff. Starting off. Yes, there's 200 gold under your bed, but we don't need it. The money route is not that tight. Need to talk to Lena to advance plot. You'll see Surge kind of walks into place where Lena talked. I wanted to be a little bit more to the left. He just takes one little sidestep there. Yes, you can recruit Posho, but having just one character at I want to say the Cape, but it's not the Cape. At whatever place we're going to next. The enemies have half HP. So it's just best to take Surge. Buying 2 fireballs here. Whipping those on slot 1 and 3. Then customizing it so that we automatically run, and so that in battle, when we attack, the number doesn't change. Throughout the segment, we need to get 3 thingies for Lena. More importantly, we need to keep track of 3 items for us. Oh, a beach bomb. So the Komodos can drop a... Oh. Those guys, the Komodos can drop a feather. That's their rare drop. I should have done that a little bit different. We need 1 feather, 2 humors, and a feint. The beach bombs, they can drop the humor. Komodos with the feather, and then the sand squirts have the feint. Mama Komodo can also have the feint. Oh boy. All kinds of good luck. We'll see if we get the humor. It's also possible that enemies won't drop an item. So there, I got the humor. There's a backup for only having 1 humor. There's a backup for everything. It's kind of rare to get the beach bomb with Komodos. We'll just take this fight. Really good RNG is having the fight that I did have with getting that humor, and then avoiding this fight and the fight on the previous screen. But for the sake of this tutorial video, it works. So 2 more humors, so we're all set on humors. This, you just need to press X once to make that text disappear. You hear some sand squirts. Oh wow. Nice fight with 4. One thing in battle, I would say that you definitely want to hit triangle at some point and get the camera angle on this dynamic view. That's lovely. It just makes for consistent menuing. Let's fireball this guy. Got a feint there. The common drops in this game are a 90% chance, and then the rares are a 10. So, again, feather rare, humor is common, feint's common. And for the third Komodo, we need to chase this guy around. No walk of shame. So in the background, Mama Komodo exists. Her AP's doing some rolls. We're just hoping for a full stamina refresh here. That's ideal. If not, we'll work with what we get. We just want to do a level 1 fireball there. Got the full stamina refresh. She says, roar. And we missed, and we missed, and we missed. Not a full refresh. I'm just gonna defend. Might die. I might die on the world premiere of this category. Whoa! Agile. Roar. 11 minutes. That's not good for Mama Komodo, but you know what? That's alright. I'm just a beginner. Got strength of the ice. Let's get a feather there. I'm actually gonna show the backup feather. The backup feather only takes about 15 seconds. Oh, you don't get any fights with sand squirts. Mama Komodo will more often than not drop a fame. If you don't get a fame from her, the next fight coming up, Karsh, Salt and Pepper. One drops a bone axe. If you get the bone axe, which is a common drop, you can disassemble that for a fame. That's one backup. Another drops the ivory vest. That's another backup. You equip that onto Posho. And then the ivory mail that you pull off of her, you disassemble for a humor, a second humor. And then the feathers in the chest that I will show off. And if you happen to, like if I was at 0 humors right now, just take some beach bum encounters at the Cape before Karsh, Salt and Pepper. And if you're hoping to get the vest and you don't get the vest, you can just go back to the Cape after Karsh, Salt and Pepper and get it then. Time for Wipeout. Lots of RNG in the game, but it's nothing that can hinder a run. Even more so than stats is getting good AP rolls for the first hour. And if you're lagging like on Surge or something, you know, you just have to get through the first hour and then DPS goes to a different character. In a brand new world. I haven't played this game in what feels like quite some time. It takes a few moments for everything to come back to me. I apologize for this scuffed tutorial. But learn with me, friend. Komodo, modo, modo. Alright, let's show off that backup feather. We go down, go through the hole, loot, and we go back down. These fishes have a misleading hitbox. It's a rectangle. Now we entered the village. Now we go talk to Lena. We look at the fishermen. Kids yell at us. So yeah, the feather, 2 humors, fame, those are used to make 2 iron weapons. The iron we will begin at Termia. The steel swallow and the iron dagger. Or Kid and Surge. Adds quite a bit of attack power for the early game, as well as raising your hit. And since weapon upgrades raise your hit, we'll also begin Lena, a new weapon, later on. We have more resources for it. You need a powerful blue innate mage for the second half of this category, which is Lena. That's why we're going to turn down Kid 3 times in a little bit. It does cost you a bit of time doing that. A few minutes, but Lena definitely pays for herself with dividends. As I was mentioned before, if I was at 0 humors or you're at 0 humors, just take these beach bums. These beach bums can have sand squirts or beach bums, so you can get a feign or a humor. If you don't have a feign, I would say don't worry about it. More times than not, you're gonna get the bone axe from this fight, which you can disassemble again. And if you're at 1 humor, you might as well just come here and hope to get that mail. Kid tested, mother approved. This fight, with many others at the beginning of the game, are tutorials, and the enemy's HP is locked in. So at the start we're going to defend until they do text. After that their HP is unlocked. In this game their turns are based on an AP system that's hidden from the player. Different enemies have different AP. All 3 of these enemies have 9 AP, 9 action points. What's an action point, you say? Well, a spell uses 7 stamina. It's actually only 1 action point. And then defending, Salt is the trigger for the text. Defending is only 1 AP, and then using a level 1, 2, or 3 attack uses 1, 2, or 3 AP respectively. Like Kid doing a 1-2 here is using up 3 AP. Magnum Bomb. Again, Only 1 AP, 7 stamina, but 1 AP. In the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that a bar goes from red to gray. Doing 2 inputs is a buffered attack. This stinks. That's all I can say. It's not going the traditional way. That's alright. We just make little detours. So, a lot of the strats in this game is trying to get up to 1 AP away from the enemy taking action. Oh, nice job. And then doing a buffered input. So here I kind of know I have some room. So I do a 2 pause, 2-2, which he actually rolled more AP. Wish I could explain it better on the fly, but I really can't. But since Karch didn't take action after that, I went for what I would call swinging for the fences and just doing a big stamina push on Kid. Again, all that might not make too much sense. So right there, those 3 drops are the commons. And in the notes, you would see what's common and not. And if you listen to this later on, it makes more sense after doing some runs of kind of what I was doing there with Manip and the AP. Really, so far this run has been like all over the place because I've been missing so much. It gets a little bit more stable once we're out of the first hour after Lynx 1 because we have Eagle Eye, which is a buff that raises your accuracy to 99%. And we are going to turn down Kid 3 times again. And that's going to get us Lena and a bonus push shell. If you screw this up, it's pretty much rip run. Unless you want to use Pierre for the fort, which you don't. Every character has the theoretical max stat, and that's kind of how the game determines stat ups. For example, Surge has a max theoretical strength of 88. He will never get to more than 88 strength. Other characters like, say, Marcy might have a max theoretical max magic of 54. It should never be higher than that. There's a nice FAQ on game FAQs that kind of breaks down like the characters' max stats and how they rank up against other characters. Like, you can have characters like Lena, Marcy, Matcha. They're like 10% higher in like the magic category. So more often than not, they'll take the lead, but sometimes they don't. Choo-choo. There is a Magnum Bomb in here that you can use for Lena for 1 strat for Salt and Pepper coming up. I would say it's more runner friendly. I'll show it where it's at. Just right there. But if you have like 2 humors like I do, you have no reason to use the menu if you're avoiding the Magnum Bomb. But if you're having luck like me, sometimes you don't get the hits and then the next fight's quite punishing. Just putting Posho in the lead for a minor optimization. This doggo can be a bit of a troll. This fight also has a tutorial and an HP lock until they give their little spew. We'll be doing the defend right away. And to make the text go fast, you can just hold the circle and I'll do the input on the first frame. After this, their HP is unlocked. Oh. And the 2 paws failed there. Not a big deal. Since Posho got targeted, lowered her hit percent, and that's Chrono Trigger for you. Lovely. Pepper box. Ah! Easy. So, just something that you get used to looking at over time is that Surge got a strength there. So he starts off at 9 strength. More notably for me there was Lena getting 12 magic, which she's going to be leaving the party. But later on when she joins, I hope for at least 12 magic, so it's nice seeing that she got 3 magic ups already. Pretty much for me, if Lena hits 15 by the time we're at the fort, she's out of sight, out of mind. And yeah, having 12 is a really good sign there. Even seeing 10 or 11, just 1 or 2 magic ups. So a little bit of confidence, but I've seen it where she's at 12 magic there, and by the time you get her, she's still at 12. Little rallying of the characters there of just movement. As a new runner, I would not worry about that. So this is the part of the time loss that I was mentioning of turning down Kid 3 times. Get some extra dialogue here, and you can, I believe you can even turn Kid down here. And then she's taunting you at the various points within Viper Manor, and it actually eats up even more time. So we're definitely going to take Kid here. And of the 3 different methods to get into Viper Manor, Pierre's the fastest, going literally through the front gate. Nine strength, so Kid's initially at 6 strength. So she's gotten 3 strength ups. Kid's chip damage can help quite a bit here at the fort. It's nice seeing her at 8-9 strength. Now we're gonna get the Profiteer Purse and disassemble it for 3 irons. If you had to remove the armor from Poshul, you also want to disassemble the Ivory Mail for a second humor there. Talk to Pierre. Oh, I want to equip that stuff. Normally equip the stuff before Pierre, so I don't forget, because I have forgotten it before. Shiny metal. Show off the metal. Let the French swordsman join. Wait. Rally ho. And we lost a little bit of time with the movement there. I forget how to make them move all nice and pretty. Not for the first fight, but for the second fight, you definitely want Pierre to be in the lead coming up. As a new runner, I would suggest just putting Pierre in the front for right now. And I've contradicting myself here and there with doing some optimal stuff that I wouldn't recommend for a new runner. But I do want to try to point out some optimizations you can do, and then when I would really just recommend for a new runner, do it one way. Such as the salt and pepper fight. I would just say stick with the Magnum Bomb with Lena. Oh no. Oh no. Kid's at a little bit lower health there, so I'm gonna heal with consumables after this. Oh, actually, I don't need to, but I will. So this is where you definitely want Pierre in the lead, because the first character is gonna die. That's not necessarily true. It's possible that Big Bro Ketchup will miss 3 times here. If that happens, you get the Cure Plus. More likely, won't see that. We'll see the Revive. But just as a FYI, it is possible. Yep, there it is. Their HP is locked. We're going to defend until they go again. Casting the Cure Plus or the Revive is when their HP unlocks. So we want to hit a certain threshold, and Ketchup will trigger his triple attack, knocking out Salt and Pepper here. Okay. Ideally, Surge doesn't get hit, maintains his hit. Excellent. Surge to 11 strength, I don't think a dash slash will trigger the thing. But we'll see. Not that's alright, we'll just go with Kid, do some damage. There is. Instead of doing like a 2-2, since I got all my hits in for the sake of AP, I didn't want to advance the AP a bunch, because then you'll see Salt and Pepper sometimes take an extra turn, and then he'll do the triple attack, which is kind of annoying. It's just something that you get a feel for. And for whatever reason, you get a free stamina refresh here, so if we defend it out, that's the refresh. We go for the win. Ooh, crit. Actually a good fight. Possible to get a rare magic ring after this. Want to loot the turn yellow? At some point you gotta fight the front guards there. You can take the fight now or later. We need to get the key for the manor. We'll go feed the draggies. That was just a little crowd movement there. This order's always the same for the first 10. It's 2, 3, 5, 1, 4, 2, 3, 5, 1, 4. Okay, he's always got a bit of lag to him. Conveniently enough, with the mana key, the knee pad, and a different item we get later on, gives us a 3 combination of accessories that's viable for us to get the steel sword and Lado. I'm gonna show off attempting the guard skip here if anyone's interested. Oh, I screwed up. You wanted to keep. So there, on a certain frame, it's possible to get that skip. If you screw that up, I would just say defeat the fight, hold left, and then loop the guard around like I did there. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to show off looping the guard there. If you failed guard skip. Really, for a new runner, don't go for guard skip. It's frame based, and I'm actually quite amazed that I got it. I really didn't think I would. Good job, kid. With the field like this, with the 1 black element and 1 red element on the field, it's like having a 2 strength difference between Kid and Surge is the thing. So you see him for 21, 22, and Surge for like 19. I think Surge's at 12 strength and she's at 11. You always have to come down here so you can't get the combination right the first time. Don't walk in the middle of these halls, a lava lamp will drop on your head. Need to talk to Glenn here. Picking up the Dragoon honor. You can save just a second by waiting for this guy to go up if you talk to Glenn at the right early time here. Don't have to watch him walk in the door, but really as a new runner I wouldn't worry about that, but just showing off a minor optimization there. Revive there. Glenn moves out of the way. Code 3-3. Again, don't walk in the middle of the floor. And you want to make sure not to say anything here. You don't have to scroll through the text like that. That's just a habit a lot of runners have. Here, pick up the bronze sword and armor. Here we want to equip the turn yellow and the revive. Surge, armor, and honor. Oh. So our first use of a turn element is gonna be in this fight. These enemies are green and 8. We're gonna turn Surge yellow. There's 6 different colors in this game. And so yellow and green are opposites to each other. Yellow will do more damage to green. Green will do more damage to yellow. White and black are opposites. And then red and blue are opposites. And then the field color bonus will also add to your attack power. So in this fight, it's going to start off with like 2 yellows in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. But it's going to boost Surge's attack that much. And then having the green like cancels out the yellow. And then all the other colors are just like neutral. Yep, Rusty. I'm supposed to be right. So here, this one's a male, this one's a female. Females have 5% less HP. Thank you. Oh, nice. Played it safe and got nothing. Here's the Bushwhacker, so that's going to push 1 yellow off the field. So the yellow and green on the field are just pretty much canceling each other out for a bonus. You can see that's reflected in my attack. And then yellow fades off, or the turn yellow fades off a Surge. It's possible to get an Eagle Eye there, can save you a little bit of money. Just like before, we don't want to walk into the middle of the hall. You will get into a random encounter. A lava lamp will drop from the ceiling. Same for this room. 20 times. Or try and open this chest 20 times. We'll finally get it. The Dragoon Gauntlet, a very powerful accessory. It was used throughout the whole game. Adds 3 attack power. Equip that on Surgy Poo. You can get a 9/9 from this. I personally don't sweat over this too much. Spinning the snake. Marcy. Soon we'll be fighting Marcy. Big thing with Marcy is that at half health, it'll trigger her to do Cat's Cradle, and then when she's in critical HP, it'll trigger her to do Ice Blast. Otherwise, she's pretty much doing normal attacks. Our goal for this fight is to get her right before doing Cat's Cradle, and then doing a really nice damage push to her. And then ideally, after that, finish her off. As you do this run and take attempts at it, my big advice is if you miss or kind of get thrown off with AP or something, or the AP just doesn't match up, don't be afraid to defend it out and then reset yourself. So try to get 200 to 220 damage, or 200 to 240 damage on her. Go for big damage. If you trigger Cat's Cradle and then you whiff and your AP's not looking pretty and she's not in critical HP, just defend it out and then go for it. Or you're kind of getting used to counting HP, or you get a feel for it, maybe do a little bit of chit damage, and if you don't see her in critical, then defend it out. That's something that runners often struggle with. In the notes, you're probably going to see a different strat of not going for threes. For me, I just do threes. I pretty much consider the threes as 50 HP of damage for the beginning. It's just an easy way to count. Unless Surge or Kid are at a higher strength and it's doing 52, I might do a 2 or 3. Again, for a new runner, just do whatever works for you, but just defend it out if things get thrown off. I just count that as like 100 damage. So now I know she's pretty much at like 230 now. She's gonna do Cat's Cradle. I know she's close to critical HP. It's safer to do the fireball here, but if things are kind of close, you can do a 3-3. Oh, you need both hits, but a little bit riskier doing that. You really hope for the Ice Blast, the common drop here. Got it. Surge at 12 strength. Woe is me. It's nice to see Surge leave this place with 15 strength. I would say 14 strength is alright as well. Okay, the RNG gods will curse me with the 12 strength, and I'm gonna tell you that your run can survive. And it can, and I'll show it. We're gonna be fighting the same guards that we have been, but with the Dragoon Gauntlet, they're just gonna look a lot stronger. Just goes to show how good that accessory is. The Dragoon Honor, by the way, is a 1 hit %, 1 magic, and 1 attack accessory. Right now we're using that Surge for the 1 attack. For the most part, you're using it for the magic, I would say. In that last fight, if you get the rare drop, the iron, there's a backup for that. It's just buying an extra Aqua Ball, which is in the notes. Like in the other areas, you don't want to go in the center there. Otherwise, you'll have a lava lamp jump on your head. Here, 12 strength or higher Surge will kill the normal guards with a 2-3. Easy peasy. Lynx one, kind of like Marcy in the sense of on the script and the notes. The goal is to get Lynx close to critical HP, and then we take advantage of his AI, which I'll dive into in a moment here. Entering this next screen, if you just hold up, you'll walk up to the door. If the eye is open, that's alright. Just don't hit X, and then as soon as he closes, you can hit X. You won't trigger the battle. So for Lynx 1, for the most part, crits aside, crits you gotta count for 2 hits, and a miss counts as like not gonna hit. So you hope for hitting 6 threes with Surge and then some chip damage with the Kid. And with in critical HP, Lynx will do a Nostrum his first turn, which is a 200 HP heal and adds a black element to the field. That's quite a bit in this early game, and then also nerfs Surge's attack. Hitting Lynx with the element, such as Pilfer, which is what we're going to do, will make it so that counters with Imbecile, and using a white element, he'll counter with anti-white. But if he's not in critical HP and you do that stuff, it's not going to prevent the Nostrum. I'm actually going to do a strat that I like to do. Not like that. I goofed up. That was supposed to go with Kid. This turn yellow strat I like to do if Surge is under 13 strength or less. I just want to show off that you can run away from any fight. If you're 13 strength or more, I definitely don't recommend this strat. But using a turn yellow on Kid pushes the black off the field, so up Surge's damage quite a bit. And then with 3 yellow elements on the field, while it doesn't nerf Kid, it's not a bane to Lynx. It does up Kid's damage a good amount with the power of 3 yellows on the field. Our normal hits in there, so I'm gonna go for the Pilfer. Your steal rate's based on your accuracy. Magic Ring's the common steal, and that's the steal we want. Unfortunately, 2 misses there. So no matter what, like in that case where I got the 2 misses, you definitely want to do the dash and slash. So go into Pierre for 3 just for a stamina push. Even though I missed, I know this dash and slash is more than likely not going to kill. It's going to trigger another part of his AI. And now I bought myself a good amount of time to avoid the Nostrum. Yeah, sub 1 hour Lynx 1, I'm really surprised by that, given 11-minute Mama Komodo. And a near 22-minute, but a large part of that is the guard skip. I haven't seen anyone else do that turn yellow strat. I tried to sell it. I haven't really sold it to other runners, but I hope that actually that was a really good example of how well that strat can work out. But again, don't get caught in thinking that you should do that turn yell strat all the time. I only did it because Surge was at 12 strength, very low. 13's alright. 13 can start to bite you in the butt if kid's at a higher strength. If she's at like 12 strength, I think, in my testing. Just something you kind of get a feel for, so you might want to lighten up on some of the damage. Like at the end there, I could have went for a 3-3 with Surge, but I knew that Lynx was closer to death, so I just went with the safer 2-3 for the sake of hit percent. Those are just the sort of compromises you get used with time. After this cutscene, we're going to take off the elements off of here. We definitely want to get the revive off them. And we'll be taking the Iron Dagger off a kid to sell. If for some reason you find yourself in a situation where you're not so used to damage counting, and you do the pilfer with kid, and then you go to Surge, and then say you swing for the 3-3 and you notice Lynx is not in critical HP. If it's still Lynx's turn, don't do any more damage, because you're more than likely right on the cusp of triggering him to be in critical HP. Instead, defend it out if needed, and then if you use another element on him, he'll counter with the Imbecile again, so you can buy yourself some time again. So you'd like using the Fireball with Kid would be viable in that situation. And we get a bunch of blood. Once we get back to the fighting, we're gonna have access to Strengthen and Eagle Eye. Those spells the game advertises as level 4 elements, but they have a plus-minus factor of 4, so you can put them as level 1 elements, which we're gonna do. And that does not affect the power of those spells. Strengthen gives you a 20% attack boost. That might not be correct, but it's a 20% damage increase for melee. And Eagle Eye raises your hit to 99%. That may not factor in enemies evade, but you will see 99% misses. I'll just say that. Surge's at 13 strength. Kinda stinks, we're gonna be using him as the main damage dealer for the ghost ship. Again, I'd rather at least see him at 14. I would say 14, 15, and then 16 is a little bit on the higher side. At least at 13 you can see him potentially bounce back with Poly Embargo. If he's at 15 strength or less for the ghost ship, it can hurt your time quite a bit depending on what key you're at. And just layer on, but again, doesn't make the run impossible. Just kind of throwing out some numbers to give people some ideas. Watch as Harley goes from... Well, actually, you can see that she's actually transparent next to the bed. When she fades out here, she doesn't fully go transparent. Still see the ghost of Harley. But yes, we're not going to save Kid. Just takes extra time and gives us different characters. Even for this category, we definitely want Glenn. Just avoids a side quest altogether. We don't want to put Lena into the party yet. She will strike up a large conversation with her cousin at the element shop. Again, not saving Kid, so just pick the default options. Yeah, once this is all done, Pierre will still be in the party. Pierre strikes up a small conversation with the smith, but it's a much shorter dialogue than what Lena's is with her cousin. For the sake of filling out the party, we'll throw Shushu in the party. A little bit faster there, go behind the house. You talk to Korcha. As an added bonus, the game actually gives you 1500 gold by doing this path. Unknown to Ash and myself that this was something. You see Matcha come back in, but she mentions frames, and she actually does mention like savings, but I never connected the dots. It wasn't until going for the guard skip became more popular. For the any percent, again, I don't recommend the guard skip. I was just kind of doing it to show it. If you get first key ghost ship with missing and guard skip, you can be short on some money. Especially within the last few years, we've added a extra element to Genius, which was once upon a time not used for the fort. Has proven itself to be viable with making fights faster and more consistent of ending them quicker. Here's the drop of the money. She mentioned go to the shaman, which we will do. Blah blah plot. This downtime's not that fun, but I would say that there's several like boss gauntlets in this speedrun that are just, to me, a blast to run. While frustrating at times, they're really fun. And about every hour or so, you do get a little bit of a break. Like after saying yes here, you can step away for a quick second to get a drink or something of that nature, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. For the notes, you might see a slightly different shopping menu here. I would recommend just sticking with the notes. If I had Ash's version of the notes on me, I would be following those. Sadly, I wasn't thinking about it. Again, if you did not get the Ice Blast of Marcy, pick up an extra Aqua Ball here. Some runners like to see the scene with Glenn right now. You can do that if you want before the shopping menu. At the shop, we're going to want to sell our weapons off, disassemble the 3 accessories. If you happen to get a magic ring, it might be at the top of your inventory, so watch out for that. Now sell weapons. Disassemble accessories, and like I said, this magic ring or the helmet could be at the top, so just be wary of that. Forge a ladle and the sword. Again, weapon upgrades in this game, along with attack power, also upgrade your hit percent, and that's why we make a ladle for Lena. Swords for Glenn. See, this is a cutscene I was mentioning that before buying elements. If you want, you can come down here. On the next screen, we'll get Matcha and Glenn to join the party. We're going to take Matcha in the party. That stays on like 15-20 seconds. Avoids watching a scene of her swimming out to the sea. And then after that, we'll put Lena into the party. Normally, we change Glenn to a one-letter name. Save some frames throughout the whole run, avoiding his name being printed out. I suppose for this category you could just leave him as a full name, but I feel that for the sake of potentially wanting to learn the full run one day, stick to the any percent route. I'm not gonna save that much time with little cuts. I think learning the right to muscle memory is a better option. Oh no, no, no. Trick myself here. So 16 strength on Glenn's nice. You can see him as low as 12. I think you can even see him at 11. Being at least 15 is nice. I'm gonna put Lena. So 15 magic, that's wow. We saw her 12 earlier. They said 12 magic I think is ideal. Her magic's not really gonna come into play quite yet. Got some moments to buy here. Revive. Innate. Aqua Ball. Don't be Andy, practice your minions. Do as I say, not as I do. Well, other than a weak surge, I would say this is like really good. After the ghost ship, Glenn becomes our main damage dealer, so after Polyfargo, Deadhead, 18 strength Glenn makes for a nice clean fight with Salt and Pepper. If you're at 17, you might see some of the hits not kill. Not a big deal again. It's just something that kind of an outlier with kind of how the route is scripted. By the time you're at Karsh Salt, sorry, the 3 divas, we're relying on an X strike and having 20 strength on Glenn and Surge makes that a pretty consistent kill. I'm speaking ahead, but that's like ideal strength around there, but I feel like I don't hit that very often, and that's alright. Really, by that time you're relying more on Lena? In these fights here, like my surge lagging, Glenn has to revive right now. So if it's near like the end of the fight, I am gonna opt to revive Surge. I would say reviving like even like a Lena. Do it for the stat ups and also for the sake of healing. Because if a character's dead, they're going to be at 1 HP, and then when you go in a fight with, say, Fargo, if they get attacked, then they're up for that. Run away from this fight. So, Polly is a red innate. We're going to turn Surge blue. And you hope that Lena can get the Ice Blast off, which is going to make 3 blues on the field, which dampens the damage from Polly's flap quite a bit. And can quite often prevent a death. Not always. With the right, on the majority of fights, you will end up on the lead character. It goes back to the dynamic camera that I was mentioning earlier in the run. Oh, it's nice to switch that for consistent menuing. Very nice start for Polly. Since Polly didn't go, I just did a stamina push with the 3-3. That's just something with time and experience you'll get used to. Even though we had a weak surge there, fight ended right on time. Lena's magic helped with that. So at 13 strength, the surge stinks. Maybe he'll get a +2 here. Fargo, if he does a low roll with AP, it's not a big deal. It's not like Polly. And strengthen the 20% increase in damage. You always hit. Sometimes we're using like Gwen as the main damage dealer, or later on White Knight. Whoever has the most attack power is getting that strength in for that boost, or for the sake of like X strike. So Fargo kind of does his undoing with pushing the blue off the field. And I just did a little extra damage there. I'm kind of surprised that wasn't 300 there, but surprised but not surprised. Oh, we got a +2, so just like that, like a 13 strength. Actually, it was 12 strength fighting Lynx, and a turn yellow made that fight go really well. And with the AP roll and the way it worked out on Polly, that really wasn't much of a hit. And then Fargo was a good fight. Surge is still a little weak, but he'll get through these fights. It'll be a bit punishing, not getting first key. There's 3 potential spots for this key. Actually 4 if you goof up. So this first fight you can run away from. Holy HP on Surge 170 is quite a bit. The first thing you want to do, leave this room and inspect this door. If you don't inspect this door, the key will not produce itself. This is another area where using the D-pad could be helpful on some screens. Also walking. Doors are the toughest boss. I always like to walk when I'm close to them. Coming down the next room for a ghost dance, I like to just hold right on the D-pad until I'm at the guy. And then switch the analog stick. Big thing here is don't walk too far away from this guy until all the text is done. I just like to stay right in that door frame. The key can be at the guy that we just passed, but we want the panacea out of this chest. So hoping for the best RNG, I would advise just come in this room. For these encounters, for these guys, I would just say do a 2-2-3 surge. If they're female, they all hit, they will more often kill. This one's a male, so it's got like 220 health. Nice. Don't be afraid to use an X strike. The skeletons go for those first. More often than not, I don't think at a 15 strength surge will kill them, but a 2-3 will take care of them most of the time. And they have a slow move, they sword stance. No key there. Going for second key. If you see 4, which we did get, I would just suggest to run away. It's a lower chance for that, but it happens. Okay. I'll go for 2-3. Yeah. These guys have the lowest HP. For the sake of showing off where the third key is, hopefully we get it. Yep, third key. Great. So going for a PB, probably if you get third key. For this tutorial, I will rejoice for the sake of being able to show off where third key is. I think it's in here. And this, you gotta talk to that guy and then this thing will come over. If you talk to this guy and he doesn't have the key, you gotta go back to the original guy that we did the ghost dance around. He didn't let the dialogue finish. Dash and slash probably won't kill, but it might at our strength. It was just shy. 16 strength would have done it. It's possible to see stat ups here. It's not quite the mini star level. A lag star. No one knows exactly what it is. I guess it is a mini star. In this next room, be careful doing this dodge. I'm probably not going to get it because I'm mentioning it and I'm rusty. Okay, I got it. Outside, this is a little bit goofy. You gotta swoop down a little bit. And then be a little bit, just not get stuck on anything. Avoid that guy. And then just fall on the wall here and then going down. These next two enemies are a bit trolly. They're just kind of random. I just kind of went for it. You're just gonna experiment a lot with those two ghosts there. Takes a while to get used to them. Pick up the photon beam. Actually, that photon beam you can skip for this category, but again, I strongly encourage learning the right muscle memory, and it only took a second to grab that thing. Once upon a time, we used to use it in the fort with a magic strat on Lynx, but that has been routed out. There, if your characters are low on health, just heal with consumables. Deadhead, their first action is going to be the combine, so you'll actually get the 6 AP. This fight will probably go on a little bit longer with Surge's strength. But if you get a crit, which, by the way, only a level 3 attack, a fierce attack will crit. Combine! For the first time, we're gonna do the combine Strength and Eagle Eye Surge. Glenn missed. That's why I was saying that it really doesn't matter. Oops. I'm even. Only do it one there. That actually kind of stinks because it's going to mess up my stamina a little bit. Oh, I punished myself. That's not normal. Wish I should have defended there. Don't watch this video for this fight. This is embarrassing. But we're gonna heal this guy. And the two black elements on the field are gonna nerf his damage quite a bit. Oh wow. I'm surprised by that, but okay. Let's go shit. 15 strength, oh boy. 18 strength on Glenn. As I was mentioning earlier, for the next fight with the Shaker Bros, 18 strength works out really nice, but you're at 17, 16, so things are going to be okay. Make a trip back to Galdolf. Two spells that were not available before: Magnify and Diminish. Diminish we're actually not going to be using in this category. it halves all elemental damage while Magnify increases all elemental damage. But again, for the sake of muscle memory, I say buy them both. Make sure they heal here. Nathan, turn blue. Genies. Oh, lots of text here. It's quite embarrassing if you forget to heal. You're more likely at 1 HP. If that happens, run away. You will die. I've done that. It's one of my shames. My very first run I did that. I was actually racing with the Dine and did that. He was kind enough to restart the run with me when we were doing a full game race. Switching gears to Glenn, taking advantage of the fact that these two are yellow nates. Glenn has the same strength potential as Surge, but it seems like he's more often than not on the stronger side of things. What? I get comfortable knowing that we're purposely putting elements in certain spots, so I know that Strengthen's going to be the default there. Eagle Eye's going to be the default. Knowing that the default target is the main character, or the lead character, I should say. It's the sort of menu speed that comes with time that will be improvements over time. Actually want to target Pepper with that. And that damage there, that goes back to a 17 strength Glenn might not have killed there. In that case, just go with Surge to finish off the battle. Here I'm getting some misses, so getting the Bushwhacker in a little bit later, adding 3 greens to the field. Strength and Eagle Eye are going to wear off. Not conventional. I'll just do that. So 18 and 16 strength. Well, Fire Dragon's actually next. Common drops. It's possible to get a Dragoon Gauntlet and a Sky Ring there. Equip those. If you get the Sky Ring, put that on Lena. You get the Gauntlet, put that on Glenn. Then I should just put the armor on Lena. Here you might want to do a safety save. Run away from Fire Dragon, he'll pull you instantly back into the battle. Make sure to heal up too. Best for her. So here we have a opportunity for a route, and this is a good example of, while the route is quite consistent, it doesn't mean that there's not opportunities for routing changes in your starting AP. Can kind of dictate like a different strat here. So if Fire Dragon doesn't go and it's still Glenn's turn, you can take advantage of that and get some extra damage in with this 3/3. If not, there's a strat to just do a 2 with Glenn there. One of the things that Ash came up with, and there's definitely other fights out there with opportunities like that. Here, if Lena dies, we're gonna revive her. There's notes about that. That's kind of a shame, but I think I could defend with Surge here, but I'm just going to do a Aqua Beam to add another blue to the field. I know with her magic this is going to do really good damage. Yeah, that's very nice. Making sure to heal. Oh, magic ring, so that's something that you can put on Lena. Guess I could show that off. Whip. I would, with the higher magic, I would say that you wouldn't have to put that. You can leave the Iron Helmet. It's up to interpretation, but Iron Helmet, or if you're at a higher magic and say Glenn is lower on strength, you could use the honor. The route assumes that you have the honor and magic ring for the strats coming up. So having like the magic ring, you can just think of the strats as having a +1. Many different ways to do this fight. Some runners have been putting a strengthen on Lena. If you're at 20/20 strength and you're not going for strengthen on Glenn, I would say do this normally. But I'm going to do a 1/2 with Glenn and Surge on Marcy. Many different ways to approach this. That sucks. That really sucks. It's possible to keep 2 reds on the field. You need a really good AP roll for that. this doesn't kill Lena, which I don't think it will. Oh, I did. I was gonna say, just do a attack with Lena. Glenn needs more stamina. Getting those misses in. Kind of was behind on AP. Thanks. Yes, I'm enjoying the pain. So normally you would have 2 greens on the field and no yellow. Just washes out. Unfortunate. And we're dealt. Often that would kill Zoa. Let's clean it up. AT magic. Dang. You can hold down towards the end of this cutscene and you'll move on the world map a bit. If you hold X on a marker, you'll load in. Lena's gonna be taking over for damage here. If you ever miss or things are getting tight with AP, switch to ones if it's not already doing ones. This fight made someone happy watching. That guy's not a big deal, but he does give us the Frog Prince. Powerful blue innate only spell. And here, if you don't have the vest, not a big deal not to equip that. People have asked about the gold earring. I recommend putting on it. It doesn't take that much time to put on Surge, and then save his bacon. Mostly for potential on Taurosoid and then Lynx. I come in the next room. You can get ahead of the bat, but I'm not good at it, so I don't like going for it. You definitely don't want to get too close to him, otherwise he will turn around on you. A little bit of a puzzle here. I can't tell you the exact specifications. All I know is having lead or surge in the lead. And then after this, hit select once. It'll change our party order. And then going through this teleporter. This will make it so we can activate the rec pattern. If the bat's ahead of you, just go right to start there. When I was interested in speedrunning this game, I was intimidated by this place, thinking, man, it took me forever. But it's actually straightforward. I would say actually a lot of the game is quite straightforward. More so than you would think. But definitely don't forget to come back here and turn this thing on. I've been on a world record pace run and have forgotten this. Allegedly, maybe. Nope. Split. Here, it's possible to get through here fast. These bats will do an awkward turn. So I just like to just buffer myself with a couple taps there. Of walking. Same thing for here. Again, that guy will do a weird turnaround. Any extra fight, again, is 20 seconds out the door. So Mr. Gloop, once upon a time we used to use turn red on him. With the change of genius, it wasn't really needed anymore. But you can still use it if you want. Your Lena's at 14 magic or lower. I would suggest using a turn red right now on Lena. Then it's going on. Actually, I'm assuming Surge can't use a blue helmet, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. Oh, whatever way you can get the field all blue, do it. Be it the Glen, Surge, using a medicine. This doesn't kill, just use another blue helmet. Since I was at high magic, I was able to skip Genius there. Excuse me. But normally I would use Genius with Surge. Again, it's in the notes of kind of how to handle that. Get the flu, use a medicine after this fight. Definitely make sure to be healed up. If you miss out on your Ice Blast earlier in the game, the Glute can drop an Ice Blast there. If he does, you can substitute the Aqua Ball on level 4. But really, with Genius, it hasn't been really needed as much, based on my experiences. It really only comes up in the Bunyip fight. Taurosoid can be a troll. Let's see what kind of fight do we get. There is a bot skip that was found where you can save like 8 seconds. I get way too salty with it, so I don't go for it, but there's a right pixel that you can jam yourself into here. But just don't be too close here, otherwise you're gonna fight. But if you screw up the bot skip, you get pincered in there, and you have to defeat him to get out, and that's a 2 to 3 minute time loss. Paper dolls are very random here. You always have to at least deal with the one going, and it really sucks when they walk away from you. There's another one, he's down below, but he can be up here. There's going to be a third one down this corner. Yeah, I didn't like that situation, but still ran. But when you run away from a fight with the enemy that you touched, there is a few iframes, so I'm going to be holding like down left to see if I can get by him. If not, I would have just went back the other way. So you don't want to try that for too long, otherwise you will lose your iframes, and then it's quite frustrating seeing you lose another 20 seconds with having the runaway. But Taurosoid, we're going to be turning red. Taurosoid's going to take extra damage from blue magic. Right, so since that's like a low AP roll there, I'm gonna switch to 1. I want to get hits off. Thankfully he hit Glenn. If he hits Lena twice, she's more than likely gonna go down. You don't want to use Magnify early, even though it looks like he's using physical moves. They're actually magic-based attacks. Oh, we got lucky on the second AP roll there. Or it worked out. So now we're ready to go for the kill. Don't need a absolute good stamina refresh, but just knowing how to work the AP and stamina is key once things don't go quite right. This Aqua Beam's hardly gonna do anything. I could have went with something like a turn blue with Surge. Just don't use the turn blue on Taurosoid. Yeah, it can be a little bit confusing with turn elements. Basically, for physical damage, we're changing our party, our characters, to the opposite element to do good damage. And when we want to do good magic damage to the enemy, we turn them a different color. But for the fort, we're turning them red. For the frog prince, for most of the game, we're using physical. Characters get an innate bonus when casting magic, so Lena being a blue innate, she will cast a blue element stronger than, say, Surge or someone who's not blue. Turning their element, so if I turn Surge blue, he would not get a bonus. A red character does not take a penalty for casting blue elements. And the same is true for other opposite elements in the game. No boss on the red wing. Coming up, we got Son of a Gun, a very tricky fight for new runners, especially when you don't get the favorable quick kill. If you can, I would suggest have somewhere near you his different patterns. In the all the speedrunning notes, there is a link to the AI patterns for enemies. In there you'll see the different moves that Son of a Gun does. So for example, he will always start off as a happy mode pattern. So his first attack is just the attack, so he doesn't put any element color on the field. But then he'll use Kissy Wissy, which adds a color to the field. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid disturbing the field element. So knowing when the enemy's going to use a element or just normal attack, you can get through the fight. And I would say, especially for learning the full run, knowing which enemies have like a game-ending element is huge. If you're running this category, the Lynx 2 category, the only enemy that really falls into that is Bunyip. In his first and second phase, he can cast some nasty elements. More specifically, the first phase, but more on that in a moment. The quick kill is getting not that. Opposite of that. Now I gotta think because it's been a while. He used Son of a... Here, what mode does he go into? That's sad or something. No. Sorry. Sorry. Using turn blue once on him. Just using another turn blue will like turn it on and off. You can see the blue's gone from. If you're at like a 14, 15 magic or Lena, you might not see a kill. But we're definitely in kill territory there. Your gut might be the run away from that fight, but I just strongly encourage, like I said, having the 3 patterns on standby and just knowing what he's gonna do. And this is just a fight you have to practice. Little crowd of the characters there. Three fights to go. Watch out for the bat out here. Watch out for the guard. I've been running that guy a lot recently. I don't know why. This guy can be a real troll. Yep. Kind of. Wish I would have waited a moment there. There's a movie, a little pause back movie. I'll actually go for it. But as a newer runner, you might just want to just go straight up and move on if you can. Here he actually gave me the pattern there. For the sake of it. Maybe on my YouTube I'll point to a video with a timestamp for the move I was going to show off there. So Bunyip has two different phases. His second action, he uses Volcano, and that's potential party wiping. First action is to use Magna Bomb. So if you miss with Lena, switch to ones. If you do like a 1-2 and he goes, switch to ones and only get up to level 4 with Lena. Do you want to knock him out of this phase? And normally you just would go for a 1 there with Surge, but since he had not acted, I just knew that I had extra room to maneuver with. If this doesn't transform, so I was talking about earlier, that if you're like at a low match and you don't have Ice Blast, just use a like blue element with Glen or Surge, because we're gonna take advantage of using that blue element to get Frog Prince up. So using a blue on on phase 1, it's not a big deal. When he transforms, watch him, because he can 0 AP roll going into this phase. And if that happens, you'll be thinking that you're waiting for an attack to happen, when in reality, something. He's going to disturb the field because he's going to cast the black element. That's what I wanted to say. Oh. Here with the higher magic, you can get away with using like a Bushwhacker on Surge. Stamina doesn't work out quite right. If you can't use the Luminaire, if you're low on magic, just don't be afraid to let him hit you with the Gravitone. The big thing is just getting that Frog Prince off. You do not want him to use Gravitone before that. And this is a fight to where Genius strats helped out a lot. Genius ups Lena's magic, and it carries over in the second phase. After this fight, note Glenn's strength. He's a 23. There's some potential better strats for Viper coming up. Sadly, at 23, we don't have enough. That's alright. The bat was in a trolley spot. This guard's in a trolley spot. Everything's a troll. The game forces you to have Surge in the lead, so just swim the lead now to save you a few steps. If you're a masher like me, don't be mashing X right now, otherwise you'll be taking a trip down the elevator. Doing a full run, approaching Viper, you have a little bit of anxiety. You're hoping for the 90% common drop, the Dragoon Gauntlet. For this category, it's not going to matter, but one of those nice to note. Hopefully one day when you switch to full runs, you just kind of have that muscle memory. And for the sake of talking about doing a full run, I like to leave this place with at least a 25 strength surge. I've had as high as 29, 25 is average. I've seen 22, I've seen 20. You can make it work. Surge is not the main damage dealer. Anyway, if you have the high enough strength to do some other strats, you do need a certain starting AP. Will also make it work. So if you have the right strength, which is in the notes, and actually if you get this start, so the right strength and get Glenn to do a 3-3 before Viper goes, you can go for... Oh. Oops. I was looking at the raw notes as I was mentioning all that. Not a big deal. Oh wow. Got a crit there. Sonic Sword's gonna finish him off. Sonic Sword would finish off regardless. But let's say I had that extra strength instead of doing like that 3-3 and then the Sonic Sword. You could have Glenn do a 3 and then a Sonic Sword. The 24 strength. You don't really have to note the fight, but we got the Gauntlet there. Surge at 23. Time for this category ends after this battle, after the healing and everything. When the screen fades to black, that's when time is. Oops. It's gonna follow a pattern of a lot of fights moving forward. We're just trying to get a character buffed up. And a lot of the fights are about getting 1 AP away from the enemy going and then getting a buffered input, like a 3-3, which essentially gives you 5 free turns. Here you might be tempted to say, like, why don't we do a 2-2-2, 3-2s with Surge? That'll make you a little bit... Strengthen will actually wear off for Glenn if you do that. We're just doing a 2-3 there. Lena dying, not a big deal there. Now we can do the 2s. After this fight, for this category it doesn't matter, but I would say it's just good habit to get used to not healing. There you go, that's time. That's the Lynx 2 categories right there. So yeah, this was something that was used as a race, or a lot of people just naturally kind of gravitate towards doing the game up to this point as practice. So for those interested in learning a smaller category, this is now an official run that we're moderating on the speedrun boards. So feel free to do your runs. If you're a current runner of the game, if you've done a full run, I would strongly encourage you to not just highlight like your PB video or like the best time ever. I think in the spirit of the competition, kind of run it. Me personally, I'd rather just do the full category than do the run the game willy-nilly. But I did want to put out a tutorial video, kind of talk about it, get some exposure to it. Dai Nuatari is also putting together this year for 2021 the first ever Lynx 2 tournament. So just like the Magus RTA, something to create awareness and hype for the game, to just kind of get some exposure and to have fun with it. So definitely look for that, and I'm sure there'll be more tournaments in the future, or anyone just interested in running a game, you know, feel free to join us in the Chrono Cross Discord. Share it with the Chrono Trigger. And yeah. And I would say if you move on to the full run, don't feel like the next hour or so it's slower, but it's it can eat time quickly. The game is not dictated by the first 2 hours by no means. And don't get too hung up on stats. We had a high Magic Lena, a good strength blend. But, the beginning surge was weaker, so I was happy to show that off. So if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us on the Discord. And I wish you all well on your runs. Thanks for watching. Bye now.